So when I got back into Magic after taking like a 20-year-long break, I decided to buy around 6 to 8 singles in the $60 to $80 range. 2 of those singles ended up being fakes, and before I realized it, the return window had passed. Before this, I always just bought boxes from stores. I never bought singles, and I thought I'd be able to spot a fake, but apparently I could not, because the fakes are pretty damn good these days. So I lost around at least $140 from that, and I'm going to go over at least 5 of the most common ways to determine if it's fake or not. So hopefully this won't happen to you. A lot of the methods to determine if a card is fake are basically obsolete now, because one method would be shining a light from underneath the card, and if it's a foil, you actually can't do that, because authentic cards, which this is, have a more transparent paper, so that's a foil, and you can see it doesn't really come through it. It's a pretty bright light. Another test is the bend test, which you don't really want to do because you want to have to bend it so much to where you might damage the card, but a lot of Magic cards have a lot of durability for that bending, for shuffling and whatnot. Another test you wouldn't want to do is tearing the card to see the ink that's in between it, which should be a purple. It should be a blurry purple too, because apparently they've been able to clone that now, but the blurry part they're not able to clone. So that would leave basically 3 tests left, which I think are the most reliable, but they're actually not that reliable anymore because they are getting them down, because these pass those tests as well. One of them being a hologram on there, because they've always said, oh no, yeah, you know, it's so hard to clone that, and they would probably like take one from an authentic one and just kind of like stick it on there, and it wouldn't look right. Another test would be the weight, because the paper that they use is very specific and it's hard to get the weight down, they've always said. So for a foil, it should be in the I think it's like 1.78 to 182 range. So I'm just gonna put that there, tear that, and I have a few different authentic cards from different sets, and they definitely weigh differently. So first we're going to weigh a non-foil just to see what that weighs. That is only 163. Surprising. Okay. Now we are going to weigh a foil from the same set, Ether Drift. That is 175. Okay. Now we're going to weigh a foil from Foundations, I think. This one weighs more. 180. Okay. Now let's weigh the 2 fake cards. This one actually having a perfect fit sleeve. And when I came back to looking at this one, I actually thought it was authentic. It is actually pretty good. So take a look at that under high magnification with my new digital microscope, which is really good for determining this. I bought this card from TCG Player, and this card from eBay. I won it on an auction, and both of them were from sellers that had a 100% rating and like hundreds of sales. So just because the seller is, got a 100% rating doesn't mean that they won't sell you a fake card, because they might not know themselves. So there we go. Bam. 180 basically authentic weight. There we go. I mean, they are getting this down. 176. So the weight is there. Weight is there. And not only is the weight there, I mean, this card is actually like got some curvature too, like a real Magic card. Like this hologram is what Magic put in place, like within like they didn't have it there like 20 years ago. They had recently added it, and it's got different mana symbols in there. I'm going to show you under magnification. People have always said, "Oh no, that'd be so hard to clone." Sometimes they just like have random shit in there, like it's not different mana symbols, but I mean, it's almost like a dollar bill. Like you know how they have dollar bills, like you can see the strip in there, and they have different tests to see, for different bills on different colors or whatnot. But basically, most people can look at that strip and say, or look at it in the light and see the face and say, okay, that's authentic, and that's what that is. They don't have it on this because it's a common. That is what it is for, And if this is failing, they need to put something else in place, because this is the only object, in my opinion, that you can use to determine if a card is fake now. And most people do not have a jeweler's loupe. I mean, you should, because if you're buying a card that's over like $40 or $50, I mean, what was the most common clone? Like Counterfeit, probably like $20. Like if you're buying like a $20 card, you should be checking it. And you can see it pretty well with this. Sometimes it's pretty hard to see, but I'm going to go over everything that it entails as far as what I know about it anyway. Just got this really nice digital microscope in, and it's got a nice 7-inch screen, but you can sync it up to your computer and view it on whatever size screen you got. So now you can view it on a 42-inch screen, which you can really see a lot of detail. So the most reliable test is the green dot test, because they've used the same pattern since the very beginning of Magic, and it's very hard for them to replicate this dot in this kind of magnification. So the first determining factor would be these 4 red dots here that form a L-shaped pattern. But the thing is sometimes there's not always 4 dots there. There might be 3, there might be 2, and there might be none at all. So you can't always use that. But the thing is usually if there's 4, it's always 100% authentic. If there's 5, or if there's 6, that means it's a clone, and it can be hard to see this under 30 times magnification. So you definitely want to try to use the 60 times if you have that. Now, another determining factor is the black border here is not exactly circular. It has these 2 flat black lines here on 2 sides of the circle. Another test is these yellow dots here. You'll see it in this like a 2-row pattern that I will take a picture and just kind of like point it out where it makes a little bit more sense. But you'll see 2 rows this way that are in this triangle formation surrounding it, the yellow part. And then you'll also see 4 of these yellow dots that connect from the center of that triangle to the black dots. So usually like 1, 2, 3, not always, but it's something around that 1, 2, 3, 4, like in the very center, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And another determining factor are these black dots here, which they always use what they call double printing in Magic, where they basically print it twice. And a lot of the clones will not do that. They'll just print it once. So a lot of the borders will look a lot thinner on a fake. So another determining factor is also on the front, on how they print it. I definitely zoomed this in a lot more. Let's see. The mana symbol, which they actually have this down. Trying to get a little bit more focus here. It seems a little out of focus. There we go. And there it is. It's also the rosette pattern too that's within the numbers, but basically this won't be as crisp, the mana symbol, or any of the lettering as well. It'll look kind of off. But the clone looks like, which I'll show you in a second, that it's pretty much well done. The lettering as well too. Let's see. This is authentic, of course. But let's take a look at the hologram, if that actually comes out. If I can find it, it's hard. Oh, I don't have it on this one. Alright, let's just take a look at the fakes now. Here's Edgar. Let's just go straight to the hologram. Take a look at that. See what the hell's going on in there. Okay, we have a tree. We have the regular magic symbol. And okay, we have the skull there. So that looks legit because there are mana symbols in there. I should pull up a real one here and kind of take a look at it, but alright, let's take a look at their mana symbols. I mean, that looks pretty damn crisp. Let's take a look at the lettering. I mean, yeah, it looks like they double printed all this. So let's just take a look at the other hollow foil for Demonic Tutor. This one, yeah, that's definitely a mana symbol. That's blue. I want to take a look at an authentic here. Let me grab one. Got Detectives Phoenix from Modern Horizon 3 here. Let's take a look. Alright, that definitely looks... Oh, wow, okay. They actually have wizards. Like, who can see that, though? The zoom I'm using right now is probably like... It's at least 200 times magnification, at least. I would say. It's probably like in that range, like 250, maybe definitely 2. Like, you would not be able to see that. Okay, so they have that down. Like, if you have that kind of magnification, okay. That's pretty impressive that they can get that tiny. Okay, so that definitely looks different as far as that symbol. And the symbol is more crisp, too. The spikes. Oh, they have it there, too, if you cover the light. Yeah, I guess it depends on the lighting angle. Let me see. Change my light around. It looks like it might be on the... They have the skull, and it looks like it has more colors in it, too. It has more colors. Okay, let's take a look at the fake ones again. They definitely don't have wizards written in there. But this is, maybe that's something new that they've added, because from 2017. Yeah, they don't have the color, like the reflection down. That is definitely jacked up looking. Nowhere near it. But there's a tree in there. And there's something else, like if you hit it with the right lighting, see, it depends on like the angle of the light. But if I kind of like tilt the card a little, you see the skull and stuff. So, I mean, it's impressive in that aspect that they were able to get the mana symbols in there. Let's pull up Demonic Tutor again. And then we're going to take a look at the back where it really matters. So, where it's the easiest to see. Let me try to tilt this one a little. Yeah, it reflects. What is it reflecting into? So it's mana symbol. It looks like it could be. This is the same. There's nothing in the center there. Like, what is that? Just looks like nothing. But I would say that these would both pass to the naked eye if you're just like looking at it. Like, oh, okay, now that looks. I can see mana symbols in there, and it's reflective in different colors. And okay, now this is the back of Demonic Tutor. Looking for the green dots. There we go. See, there we go. Look at that. But if, like, see, I kind of had it down, like, where it's kind of like out of focus. And, like, pushing on it because I have a little terry cloth under it. And that's kind of how I saw it when I was looking at it with the 30 times Jeweler's Loop. When I came back and I realized that I had a fake Edgar, I checked all my other cards that I had spent money on, like in the $60 to $80 range. And I was like, oh yeah, this one's authentic. I see that like 4 red dots there, which it looks like 4 red dots, like for sure, in the L-shaped pattern when you're kind of out of focus. And 30 times magnification is not that good to where it's pretty blurry still. But when I really let the focus zoom in there, you can see there are way more than 4 red dots. There's like 10, 20 of them in there, and like they could not get that down. You can see the black dots too within the circle look a lot more jacked up and blotchy, and they didn't double print it like specific. And then you can look at the border as well. It doesn't look crisp for that circle. It doesn't have those flat edges that I was talking about on the sides here. Instead of the 2 rows of yellow dots here, there's like 3. This one, it shouldn't be connected here, but there's kind of 2 there, I guess. And then in the center here, there's more than 4 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is a good enough test right here. If it's not, and it's hard to see through the Jeweler's Loop, you could look for those other determining factors, or like I was saying, some of the sets they didn't even have the red dots in there. They were just missing. So you'd have to look for these other factors. All right, let's take a look at Edgar. This one too, like if you don't have the right focus on it, it looked like 4, potentially 4 dots. You're like, oh, okay, I kind of see 4 red dots there, but when you get a real good focus on it, it's definitely way more than 4 red dots. Like, that's what they say, like if they could get this down, which they've gotten it pretty down, as I would say, as far as everything else besides the green dot, they got the weight down. They pretty much have the hologram down, unless you really zoom in on it, like 200 times zoom. It'd be hard to tell. People are like, well, you might as well just like clone money, because the printing machines that Wizards uses is like really hard to replicate, and it's like really expensive, and it's kind of surprising that they haven't cloned it yet, because they've been using the same pattern for like 30 years. But yeah, there we go again. It's definitely like 100 dots in there, red dots. And this pattern is definitely way more yellow dots in there too. There's like 3 or 4 rows in there. This one's got 3 rows on this side, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Of course, the black dots do not look good either. They're commingled with a bunch of red dots. The rosette pattern's different too, but That varies depending on what set it is, this rosette pattern that's on the outside. But let's just take a look at an authentic one again. We'll take a look at the Detectives Phoenix. That's a new set from Modern Horizon 3. I don't really know how to determine the rosette pattern, but let's go to the green dot again. As you can see, doesn't really seem in focus one. Got much more crisp. I don't know what that is on the bottom there, but look at how much more crisp that black border is, just surrounding it. And with this flat edge, not too many yellow dots in here, just 2 rows here, 2 rows here. 1, 2, 3, and usually 4, but 1, 2, 3 is, you get the idea. These are all double printed, that's why they're so complete. So the green dot holds true for basically the only test left as far as authenticity goes. If they get that down, I don't know. Magic is screwed, especially since these cards cost so much money. You basically don't buy it from anyone. The single market's killed. You just basically have to buy it from dealers, and that's the only route left if they get this down. Hopefully this saves you from losing a bunch of money. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.